I'm James Brierton in Charlotte, North Carolina, coming on the air with you now on this Thursday, July the 1st, 2021. It's 11:18. We are tracking a few pieces of severe weather across the Carolinas, including the one scrolling at the bottom of your screen, which is for a flash flood warning. This is near the city of Winston-Salem. We'll go ahead and pop up the radar out of Raleigh, Durham, and you can see it appear there in just the last frame or two in the green box just off to the west of Greensboro. This is for Forsyth and Guilford County. We have this flash flood warning that is currently in effect with the considerable tag adhered to it from the National Weather Service. The possibility of some considerable flash flooding to be occurring here in the next little bit, with Doppler radar indicating thunderstorms producing heavy rain across this warned area. Around 1 inch of rain has already fallen just in the past hour, with additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches possible in this warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. That's the verbiage from the National Weather Service. Now, locations inside this warning include Winston-Salem, Huntsville, Louisville, Summerfield, Stocksdale, Rural Hall, just to name a few locations. Let's go ahead and pop up some more cameras just off the top of tonight's broadcast. We were showing you that live view from Wake Forest University. Here's another shot right now of that area from Weather STEM, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on exactly what's playing out there again. But that flash flood warning does go until 2 a.m. tonight, which it speaks to the overnight rain threat that we're going to continue to watch, as you've been watching right here on the Carolina Weather Net, our nonstop channel on YouTube. We've been monitoring scattered storms moving through the Carolinas, including a line of severe thunderstorms that rolled on through and continues to exit now into Virginia, just to the west of the I-95 corridor. You can see it there, and you can see in some of those first few frames how much of the triangle was inside that yellow polygon from the National Weather Service. Well, we actually have some storm reports in we want to tell you about from the National Weather Service in relation to those storms that rolled through the Carolinas in the last few hours or so. The National Weather Service has been able to get in some of these storm reports, and it's clearly a dozen or more of these reported thunderstorm wind damage reports. You can see them here on the screen with me. Laurel Hill, we got a tree down near Sneeds Grove Road. This is just before the 9 o'clock hour. And then these continue here just to the west of Fayetteville. These are the earlier severe thunderstorm warnings you see on the screen. But again, reports of scattered trees down in southern Pines. We have thunderstorm wind damage bringing down multiple trees. And this fell on power lines as well, too. So some of our neighbors and communities may be without power tonight because of the wind gusts that were produced by some of these severe thunderstorms that rolled on through the area. You see another tree down here, the intersection of James Street and US 1. Power lines and trees down as well near Broadway, North Carolina. This same line of storms then rolling into the Triangle. Some of these communities here on the south side of Raleigh, we have more trees down. And then the actual Triangle and the city metroplex itself, getting reports of trees down as well. You can see this whole line of thunderstorms pretty much maintaining its warned qualification right across the state here. You could draw a line from the border of South Carolina near Laurinburg, and then continuing up again between Southern Pines and Fayetteville, and then up through Raleigh and Durham and Cary, and then exiting out back into Virginia. Well, again, we have that severe flash flood warning that's in effect right now for Winston-Salem. A few other reports of scattered trees down, this one in Salisbury, North Carolina, and flooding earlier in the night as well. That was reported in the mountains of western North Carolina. So here's what we can expect as we go on through the rest of the night. We're going to be carefully monitoring additional rainfall. We're expecting some of the magnitude of the rain to kind of subside a little bit as we go on through the night. And then tomorrow afternoon, we're again going to be watching for the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms. We have only just a marginal risk of foreseeing severe weather tomorrow. But again, what our concern is actually going to be is not so much the wind, despite what we just showed you. But again, it's going to be this continued flash flooding threat with continuous rain moving through the area. It won't be nonstop tomorrow, but it'll be heavy at times, just like it is right now in Forsyth and in Guilford County, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued that flash flood warning. That's exactly what they did earlier today in Ashe and Watauga counties because of the amount of rain that was falling in such a short period of time. That's when they go ahead and they issue those flash flood warnings to try to warn people of the threat of that water that is falling so quickly across the region. That, of course, is not the only thing that we are watching in the weather world. Many of you now know that we have tropical storm Elsa that formed earlier today in the Atlantic Ocean, becoming the earliest E-storm on record in the Atlantic Basin. And we can take a look at the 11 o'clock advisory that is now out from the National Hurricane Center, forecast to keep Elsa as a tropical storm as it makes its way north and west slowly towards the United States. Southern Florida now pretty solidly in this forecast cone as we look ahead to later on Tuesday. It's kind of in that Monday time frame where we'll be watching to see exactly where this storm ends up. Of course, you'll remember that the cone of uncertainty gets wider as it gets further out from present day, and that's because of margin of error. This storm could be anywhere in this cone. The center of the storm could be anywhere in this cone, so it could be as far west as the Gulf of Mexico. It could be far east as the Atlantic Ocean side of Florida, so we're going to be keeping a close eye on that, but nonetheless, we do have another tropical storm that we were keeping an eye on. Of course, we had Danny here in the Carolinas just a day or two ago, and so Elsa becoming the earliest E-storm on record in the Atlantic, which has many of us buzzing now about what the rest of this hurricane season could look like. Last year was a record-breaking year, and now this year is keeping on pace, if not beating in certain aspects of the pacing of last year, and so that has a lot of people wondering again what the rest of this hurricane season could look like, which doesn't typically peak until we get further out towards September. But again, here on this Thursday night, we're watching scattered strong thunderstorms moving across the Carolinas. Can't completely rule out that some of them will become severe, just like we saw across the triangle tonight. But the flash flood threat is the concern that we are most concerned about, and that is currently up in green there on the left-hand side of your screen, where some of these thunderstorms are moving very slowly and bringing down lots of rain and rainfall very quickly. And so that's why we're going to be keeping our Carolina Weather Net on the air all night long. You can find it streaming for free on the Carolina Weather Group YouTube channel. So if you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, check us out on YouTube for our free Carolina Weather Net. You get the best of the Carolina Weather Group alongside real-time weather conditions and real-time warnings from the National Weather Service. No cable or satellite subscription is required. Again, just search Carolina Weather Group on YouTube to find each day's instance of the Carolina Weather Net. That's been a brief look at some of the weather that's rolling on through the Carolinas here on this Thursday. Again, we'll be monitoring the weather overnight and again on Friday with some of these stronger storms still anticipated. And then cold front rolls on through. So let's put that futurecast on the screen here real fast and show you what we can anticipate starting through those overnight hours. Again, you can see areas of rain, heavy at times. It's certainly going to be noticeable if you happen to be in one of these communities that during the overnight hours maybe gets that rumble of thunder. And then, you know, we start to see a little bit more of an organized line as we look through the afternoon hours tomorrow, and that's all riding ahead of that cold front that's going to push on through as we go through Friday. A few scattered storms on the back end. We'll be watching those very carefully as well too. But again, the good news in all of this as we talk about the holiday weekend is once we get on through tomorrow, we're going to set ourselves up for a very sunny holiday weekend and clear skies at night. We might have a little bit of a temperature inversion based on what Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich at WCNC Charlotte was tweeting about earlier today, which could actually be very interesting if you're setting off or going to any of those fireworks shows, because that smoke might have a hard time rising up and dissipating through the atmosphere. But nonetheless, we're not expecting a lot of rain this weekend, and so that'll be good if you have any sort of holiday plan outings. But we just got to get through the rest of tonight and through tomorrow as we'll be watching a few scattered thunderstorms, some of which could be severe, But if you were to rank all of our concerns, it's that flash flooding that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. So again, that's why we'll have our Carolina WeatherNet streaming throughout the night on YouTube, and then we'll be back on all of our platforms, Facebook and Twitch alike, as the situation warrants. But for now, from Charlotte, I'm James Brierton. This has been an update from the Carolina Weather Group. And if you are watching on our nonstop Carolina WeatherNet, stay tuned. We'll return you to regular scheduled programming right after this.